Hey guys, welcome back to Money's Blind Podcast. I'm your host Prasoon, and today I'll be talking about three things that I miss the most after becoming blind. So, as you guys know, I was not born a blind person. I was normal. I had short sightedness from the age of 7 years. I was using spectacles since then, and I was diagnosed with this condition 8 years ago. And the progressive loss in vision, the retinal degeneration, that has been very, very slow. And there are certain things in my life which I miss the most, which I used to do because I had 6 by 9 vision or almost good vision, but now it's not like that. So there are things that I was able to do which I'm not able to do now. And there are three such things that I miss the most. That's coming up in this episode of Money is Blind podcast. This is the show where you will learn how to become a successful blind entrepreneur despite all the barriers, despite the lack of sight. So I've been doing it for the last 6, 7 years now, and through this podcast, I'm trying to motivate you guys to do the same, to start your own business and grow it, become independent and successful. Because starting a business, it not only makes you wealthy and successful, it changes your entire life. It brings in new skills which improves your health, your relationships, your family life. It changes you from head to toe. So, coming back to this episode, the number one thing that I miss the most is understanding people's body language. When I'm saying something and when I expect someone to speak up, nowadays I can only understand what they feel inside their mind only if they communicate it loud and clear using words. But earlier, 10 years ago, I was able to do that by looking at their face. They would be smirking, they would be annoyed. There were some changes that was clearly visible in their faces. It was natural. They were not able to control their body languages, their facial expressions, the way they keep their body posture, the way they touch their face. I was into this kind of body languages and everything, but now I miss it. I miss it a hell lot. Now I have to wait for them to utter a word so that I can understand what is going on in their mind. And if I am not getting a response, I have to ask. So that is kind of difficult for me, and I think it's difficult for them as well. So, body languages, facial expressions, and gestures, these are part of every language. It's not just part of English, it's universal. It's present universal in all human beings, and I miss that the most. So, I am trying to become a good teacher, and whenever I teach a topic, I am not able to see my students' faces and understand what they feel inside. I often ask for my feedback, but I don't get it. Only one or two students in the class have the confidence to speak up, to open up their minds, but rest of them, they keep silent, and those who keep silent are not able to read their faces. I don't know what is going on inside their mind. This is also made it difficult for me to take decisions in my family life, in my business, when communicating with my partners through phone calls or video calls or Google Meets. I might be seeing them, they might be seeing my face through video conferences, but I don't know what is going on in their face. So every business meeting that I make, I have to ask for them to make it clear and loud so that I can understand. Because communication, that's an important skill that we need to develop as entrepreneurs and as human beings. Because if we are not able to communicate properly, the we can expect a lot of problems, simple problems which could have been easily prevented if the same thing had been communicated properly. So I have many examples, and I'm planning to do a dedicated episode on this topic alone. So coming to the next topic, the next thing that I miss as a blind person is driving. So I used to love driving cars, four wheelers. I uh, I enjoyed long drives. I often went from my school, which is like 240 kilometers from where I work now, where I stay now. And during vacations, holidays, I used to take the car, come here, go back. It was fun days, and now I miss it. Nowadays, I sit on the front seat, but I can't even see the road. I have a little bit of idea about the dashboard, about the dash of the car, and nothing else. I have to wear my polarized glasses whenever I am inside the car. I still own a manual gear car. It's not an automatic car, and I still can understand which gear the car is going, even if it's some other person who is driving the car. So I don't need to touch and find which gear the car is in. I can understand it from the sound the engine is making. I'm not sure how it is, but it works almost 90% of the time. I'm almost correct all the time. I wish I could take the car to a playground was nobody is there and drive the car just like how Al Pacino did in the movie The Scent of a Woman. You might have seen that movie. He's riding a red Ferrari, I think, and that's a brilliant movie. I wish I could see that again. So, driving is one thing I miss the most. I have to depend on my wife or my personal assistant or my brothers or my relatives for my commutations and for my short and long travels. There's no other option, or else I have to hire a cab, an Uber, or a taxi. So that is something which I miss the most. And if there is a cure or any kind of treatment which enables us to drive again, just like what happened in the movie Terminator 2nd, The Judgment Day, you might have seen Arnold driving this car. He is a robo. He's a cyborg. He's a humanoid who comes from the future to save John Connor. And yeah, you guys know the story. And when he's driving, he gets all the information about the distance, the road, the turns, the curves, everything. And that movie, I think it was launched in 1992. It's almost 30 years ago. So something like that. If I know Arkham and other augmented reality and virtual reality eyeglasses are coming up for visually impaired persons and blind persons, but most of them works like screen readers. It's not what I want. I want everything to go straight to my brain. So something which Neuralink, Elon Musk company, something just like that. So if something of that sort pops up, maybe I will try it. I will get myself enrolled in that trial and take the risk, and maybe I'll get a chance to drive again. So the third and the final thing is movies. I used to be a movie buff. I had collections of, I think, more than 1,000 movies. I used to write all the movies that I downloaded from various websites when I was in college, and I wrote it down in DVDs, and I had a collection of DVDs. I still have that collection. Those were the days of torrent. New torrent, BitTorrent. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about torrent, but I was a huge fan. I was a huge contributor, and every movie that I watched those days, if I liked it, I used to write it, take a copy, and burn it onto a DVD and store that DVD. I still have that collection. And Shawshank Redemption, the Pulp Fiction. There are several IMDb top 100 movies. The Dark Knight Rises. I still listen to these movies theme songs when I'm working out using Alexa. But, I wish I could see those movies again. I know there are audio descriptions and all, but the experience of watching a movie alone, I miss that. Now I have to depend on my wife, who acts like a translator, who because most of the movies that I watch are in Indian languages, and none of them have audio descriptions, and so I have to depend on my wife. She becomes the voiceover artist, and I get the narration. So the number of movies that I watch has gone down tremendously in the last couple of years. So the last time I went to a movie theater and watched a movie with my family, it was before COVID, and I think that was in 2020 January, right? And just 2 weeks back, I broke that long spell, and I had an opportunity to watch another Malayalam movie with my family 2 weeks ago. And it's like 3 years. So in these 3 years, during the COVID pandemic time, I watched like one or two movies in Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Hotstar, all the OTT platforms. But everything, all those movies were watched with help of my wife. I haven't seen any series or TV series on anything in the last couple of years, and I miss it. It was like my leisure time, enjoyment hours, but now I don't have that time. I wish I can watch those movies alone, independently, but I know I will miss it. I can get a synopsis of every movie, every TV series episode online, and then watch it, but there's no fun in doing like that, right? So that's another thing that I wish I could do again. So what are the things that you miss now as a blind or a visually impaired person? And this question is for persons who were able to see, who were sighted in their life, in their early life, and they are now lost their sight. So if you are such a person just like me, you can answer this question. I will put this question in the show notes, and you can also directly send me your thoughts and responses by visiting www.moneyisblind.com. Alright guys, on that note, I'm signing off. You guys take care. Bye bye.